back again for third week in a row. I was going to say miraculously, but I said it last time. But this time, for real, it's miraculously. You can't tell, but we're both so stressed. Not because of the podcast, but because of, like, school stuff and, you know, leaving things for the last minute, procrastinating.
Yeah. Whatchamacallit. There's just so many things. And then my birthday week's gonna be already packed as hell. It really is.
So, I'm Diana.
I'm Andrea.
And this is Bitch the Pot. Wow, we started off so great. So positive.
Why are you, like, scaring me? You're like...
No, I'm saying, like, that was such a bad start.
I know, but lack of sleep. I just... whatchamacallit. But for today, we are going to be talking about... Well, the first thing that I can think of that we mentioned was Twilight.
I'm sorry, y'all. I have a mosquito bite on my arm, so for anybody who's listening to the podcast version, like, you're going to hear all the scratching.
Okay, but speaking of mosquitoes, I know you told me, like, we already talked about TikTok, but there's this one TikTok that I just saw about Twilight, where that scene where he's all like, tell me what you think I am or whatever, and then she's like, a mosquito. And I was like, what?
I mean, technically, like, vampires are the human version of mosquitoes.
But that really got to me.
No offense to the vampire community, because I know that's a thing.
Yeah, that is a thing. But anyways, about Twilight in general, we're basically talking over the phone a little bit about how during that time we were in middle school and how it was like a very just the whole, like, school was divided between Team Jacob and Team Edward.
I think at our school it was mainly, like, everybody was Team Jacob.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I was there, like, Team Edward, all of you are invalid.
She was like, I love impale vampires.
It really was all about Team Edward. Like, I couldn't hop on that Team Jacob train.
No.
I know that my friends were all, like, Team Jacob. Like, one of them had a poster in her room and everything of him, like, shirtless, because that's him, like, a majority of the time. And I couldn't get with it.
Okay, whatever. But there is, like, one part of the movie that I've been thinking about too, where I told you about how Edward is supposed to be, like, smelling her, and he's supposed to be, like,
when she walks in the room.
Yeah, when she walks in the room.
And the fan's behind her, and it, like, blows a whiff
towards
him.
And he just made it seem like he was, like, so disgusted, like, she stank. Like, it was so... Okay.
Peak acting, honestly. Oscar worthy, so both of them. Even though half the time, like, Kristen Stewart now is definitely better than Kristen Stewart then. But Kristen Stewart then, that acting was, I mean, better than mine, but she has the same two facial expressions.
Oh, yeah. I remember that was going around. Yeah, that was going around for, like, a while. How people were like, wow, you guys really let her get famous. She has two facial. Oh, my God, I can't stop crying. I'm not doing anything. But, yeah.
Oh, my God, is Twilight that sad?
No.
Honestly, the books, so good. I read the books when I was in, like, 5th or 6th grade. And I somehow managed to convince my mom to buy me all 4 books. And so I had all 4 books, and I read them, and they're amazing.
Chunky.
And then when the movie started coming out, I think we were still, like, in 6th grade when the first one came out. And then the next ones I remember coming out, like, during middle school. Specifically, I remember when Breaking Dawn Part 1 came out, and everybody was so upset that they ended it where it ended.
Oh, yeah, right.
I don't want to say where, because spoilers.
Yeah.
Because you guys need to go and watch it.
Oh my God, it's been out for so long. They should know by now.
Yeah, you should know by now.
By now, come on.
Because I feel like Twilight was one of the first ones to do that whole thing of, like, release a part 1 and then part 2. Then after that, everybody hopped on that bandwagon. where Hunger Games did it.
Harry Potter did it.
Harry Potter did it.
Wait, what time did
Harry Potter end?
2012?
Mm-hmm.
And 2011 was part 1, part 2. But when did Twilight end? I don't even know.
I think 2012 too.
Oh, so they were both like doing it. Okay.
Yeah. They're both doing it,
Harry
but I
Potter.
feel like Twilight's actually the one that's credited for it.
Okay, whatever. But anyways, what other thing did I ever? Oh, duh. During that same time, when especially the first one came out, there was like YouTube channels like recreating certain scenes, but like putting it like in a parody type.
Like Super Ego, that was probably my favorite parody.
The
of it.
favorite one. Oh my
Where-
god.
He calls Jacob Hackle.
Mhm.
Oh my god.
And then like he like just puts like a shirt and ties it up in the middle, and she's like Bella or whatever.
Wait,
And then no, the first one he actually dresses a little more similar to Edward with the hair. And then he does like that like mysterious voice, but it's so funny.
I think probably one of my other favorite parodies from it was when they had Jersey Shore do the parody.
They had Jersey Shore do the parody.
Jersey Shore did a parody with, I think it was with Jimmy Fallon. But they did a parody, and Snooki was Bella. And I remember that she cuts her finger on a pickle cake, because they
Mhm.
gave her a pickle cake for her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
And she cuts her finger, like, trying to cut the cake. And then all the Jersey Shore cast goes wild for the blood coming out of her finger.
Oh yeah, because of that one thing with Jasper.
Mhm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we were talking about how like Jasper has that accent.
Oh my god. I'm a sucker for accents. I know I said this was the last time. I don't know when I said it. But I'm a sucker for accents. And every time Jasper opened his mouth, I was like, whew, thank you. Just because I feel like all of the other vampires, I mean, obviously Team Edward, he was my favorite. But
Mhm.
Jasper was my number one.
I liked him in I think it's Eclipse, but I could be really wrong. I think Eclipse is the one where they fight all the newborns.
Yes.
Yeah, that scene when Jasper is teaching them how to go against the newborn, because like it's very different from going against a regular vampire, like they're stronger or whatever.
Wait,
That
no,
I
that's
love.
not the first.
Is it Eclipse?
It's not Eclipse.
New Moon.
Because at that point, Bella's already a vampire.
New Moon.
Bella becomes a newborn. Or am I
In
tripping?
Eclipse.
I'm sorry. No, I'm saying that when that happens, that whole thing of like Jasper training them, Bella was a newborn too.
Bella was
Wasn't she?
not a newborn.
Or am I tripping? I'm
You're
sorry.
tripping. She does not become a vampire until
It has
like
been a long
part
time.
one of the last.
She was the one who recently saw the movies. I have not seen the movies for a while. I don't know when it
Yeah,
was.
no. Bella doesn't become until like the last movie.
I honestly confuse it too because
I
the
know.
books end in different spots and the movies end.
Oh. Well, there's one of them. I don't know if it was Newborn or Eclipse, but Victoria converts Riley into a vampire, which is like this random kid. She
Yeah.
picks up. And so then he's the leader of the newborns, and it's kind of like then Jasper just teaches them how to fight them, and that's it. But I like that whole fight sequence when they're teaching each other. It's just so cute. Yeah. To be honest, what made me want to rewatch the whole, like, every movie is when I saw on Twitter the baseball scene where they're playing. I was like, ooh, gotta watch it.
That is like so aesthetically pleasing.
The
that
whole baseball.
that whole scene.
Uh,
I know people hate Twilight, and I've had so many arguments about Twilight. I've always been defending it that the movies are not that bad. I know, as film majors, I should not be saying that, but I'm gonna say it. Twilight's in my top 100 for sure. All 4 of them. Actually, the one that's not in my top 100 would be Breaking Dawn Part 2. Because there's a lot of scenes in Breaking Dawn Part 2 where I feel like the writers completely pulled something out of their ass. Just because they were not in the book whatsoever. And they were like huge scenes that it's like, it spanned over a long time. Usually the problem is that, like, when you're turning a book into a film that they cut scenes out, and then for some reason Breaking Dawn Part 2 they put scenes in, like a whole ton of stuff that was not in the book. I think probably only like 2 things that happened in that movie actually happened in the book. Everything else was kind of just like, let's wing it. Anyways, going from Twilight, what else did you want to talk about?
I wanted to talk about, well, I know you didn't want to talk about guilty pleasures, but...
Well, just because, okay, to me, Twilight is one of my guilty pleasures.
Twilight is one of your guilty
Yeah,
pleasures?
it's one of my guilty pleasures. But also, I'm not guilty about it.
I know,
so it doesn't really,
it's just
it doesn't really work.
work.
But I feel like it's also because I don't get embarrassed easily.
Okay, well, I'll get into my guilty pleasure. A lot of people hate on me because I like Norbit. And Norbit's not like that bad of a movie. It's pretty funny in general.
I think Norbit's bad.
Okay, yes, like, it is technically pretty bad. I just like the funny aspects to it. Like, where they talk about the chicken, or is it a piece of turkey? I think it's a piece of turkey.
I don't know, but all I know is that they talk about its butt, and I think that's the only part that I liked.
Yeah.
Even as a kid, I watched this and I was like, why?
Because they gave it to him like a turkey ass. And I was like, I cannot stop because, like, they literally just showed. Okay, yeah. But I just like it.
I think that's one of my uncle's favorite movies. That and, like, The Nutty Professor.
I've never seen The Nutty Professor.
Really?
Because, like, I saw the cover and I was like, does not catch my attention.
No, anytime Nutty Professor or Norbit is playing in my house, you will 100% hear it on my uncle's TV in his room. Because that is one of his favorite movies.
Isn't there, like, a bunch of Nutty Professors now?
I don't actually know. I
know
think I've
there's
only
2
seen the
for
first
sure.
one. Because I can't really tolerate those movies.
No. I guess.
What's another guilty pleasure of yours besides?
Oh, High
Norbit.
School Musical.
Am I guilty about that one? No.
No, actually, I mean,
Like, we actively listen to High School Musical in the
out
car
loud,
at
like,
full volume.
yeah, full volume. Even when, like, we're off, because usually I like to hear it in the freeway because nobody's gonna listen to me, like, just singing it out, singing my lungs out. But then once I exit, and I was like, ooh, I did not pay attention to how
embarrassed.
high. Yeah, I was like, the volume's so loud. Like, my car, even if it's up to 15, you can hear it outside really clearly. And sometimes we'd be blasting it to like 30, 40. Imagine how bad. Like, people must know that's like, ooh, she's still stuck in Disney, like, this little kid driving.
Well, I mean, we all grew up listening to it. Like,
But, like,
I think at this point, it's its own genre of music. Of, like, Disney, classic Disney music. Where you listen to, like, High School Musical or Lemonade Mouth or... People like to include Let It Shine.
Let It Shine.
I feel like that one came out too late for me.
Too late.
I watched it. I did like it, though. I have some stuff.
You know which
some
one I like?
songs
Rags.
I love Rags, but we're talking
Rags is
Disney,
better.
not Nickelodeon.
Oh, that's Nickelodeon? It gives me Disney vibes.
And then, what other classic Disney, like... Why am I blanking? I'd like to... When did Teen Beach Movie come out? I feel like that one also came out late.
That's
for me.
2013, but I'm still listening to it, trust. I have no shame.
Yeah, I watched Teen Beach Movie for Rosalind.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the only
why.
reason
That's
I've
the only
seen it.
reason. Like, I don't care about Maya Mitchell. I like Rosalind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's basically what
But
I
I
watched.
feel like those ones also came out too late for me. Like, Let It Shine, Teen Beach Movie, those ones came out too late. Lemonade Mouth almost came out too late. By that point, I really wasn't watching as much anymore. But I caught on to it because I really liked Hayley Kiyoko's character.
Yeah.
She was like
Sometimes
my
I
favorite.
blank out. I was like, oh, wow, she was really in that movie.
And she was really young too when they did that. What other movies? I don't know, but I feel like that's its own like genre.
Yeah.
Just the same way that like my parents, they listen to like 80s music in the car. Then,
Yeah, but see, I don't know.
no, I see it. Because my dad
See?
legit will listen to like music that he listened to as a kid, like music that's made for kids.
Mhm.
Yeah, he'll listen to it because it makes him nostalgic. Like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes Go Diego Go be hitting different.
I just feel that.
The theme song.
I just feel that not our generation, but like, you know, kids who are younger, not even older than us. I feel like older kids like still understand the High School Musical and like
Yeah.
Disney Channel. Like it's good, like all those old films. But I feel like the younger generation, since they're so into, you know, like rap and hip hop, like it's a very different type. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like the shows on Disney in general are just different now, anyways.
Yeah.
Because
like,
I tried sitting and watching newer shows, and I couldn't.
you can't.
I couldn't do it.
Can't hold them.
No, I could not. The shows from like our generation and before our generation are way better. That's why, I mean, this is all promo for Disney, which they don't need, but like that's why I want to get the Disney Plus.
Oh,
Because they're gonna have Boy Meets World.
they can have my money.
Oh my god! And they're also gonna have. I don't know if any of y'all watched Out of the Box. I know you didn't, but I specifically remember watching Out of the Box, and that was their like opening song. Is the only song I would ever sing in the house, to the point where my uncle and my dad and my mom, like, they still sing it to me, the Out of the Box opening song.
No, never.
I remember it. It was like a group of kids and like they're in a box.
Oh.
Like the point was for them to like, you know, get creative and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I don't.
You don't remember Out of the Box?
No.
That was
Not at
one
all.
of my shows.
Oh, dang. I
But
mean,
more Boy Meets World.
more Boy Meets World.
Yeah.
I liked. There was Boy Meets World, Full House. Everybody watched Full House.
I got tired of Full House.
I watched
recently.
Full House because, like, I don't know. My mom said that she watched it, so then I was like, I want to watch. My mom watched, and I watched it. It was, I didn't hate it. It's pretty good. But there's other ones before besides Boy Meets World that I can't think about. Sister.
Oh my god.
Oh, that
Tia
was
Tamara,
that was good.
Queens.
That was so good. I love the whole series. I remember I watched like the pilot when it first came out, and I was like, I was freaking out. But then later on, it actually became like a very liked just show. Because in the beginning, nobody really knew about it until later on, and then Sister became Twitches, and then
I mean, Tia Tamara. Their names are Sister.
Sister. They moved to Twitches.
Twitches is so good.
And then they did 17 again, no? With that film.
Wait, what?
They did a film, 17 again. Yeah. They did
I
a
don't
film.
remember seeing
You don't
that.
remember it?
I
Oh,
don't think
so
I
it's,
did.
you know how, like, they remade, actually, 17 again into Zac Efron's? So it's the same concept where I think their little brother turned into, like, an older guy or whatever. I think something with that. Maybe it was the girls. I don't know, but they did make a movie. That's all I remember is the cover. I think it's on like Amazon Prime or Hulu, something like that.
We're going off topic. Tia and Tamara, Maury, and Sister, not guilty pleasures. What other guilty pleasures?
Yeah.
I feel like at the moment I can't actually think of any besides like Twilight. People saying Twilight is so bad. That's one of the first things that come to mind. I know there's definitely some people that they don't like Harry Potter, so I guess Harry Potter would kind of count. But also Harry Potter has a huge fandom.
Oh, yeah, like it's so big.
Yeah. But I can't think of any other like actual what would qualify it as a guilty pleasure. Because I feel like recently we've come into like culture where like everything is kind of cool.
Yeah. Plus, like,
Well,
just like
to
him,
me-
I'm not guilty.
TikTok, guilty pleasure. Because
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
there's a lot of people that I know don't like TikTok.
Yeah, you're right. TikTok is one.
I think it's because they don't understand it. Like, There are some people that to this day they don't understand Vine, even though it's gone.
Yeah.
But I remember one time talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh, hey, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching Vine compilations." That's what I do on my downtime.
Yeah, I stay like saying Vines, and when people don't get it, I get so sad.
Yeah.
Because they're not even like a year of a difference. Like it's just a couple months, and it's just so sad. Where it's like, what? But yeah.
No, but I don't think Vine isn't like a generational thing. What I'm saying is that there's some people that just never got onto it. Because there's a lot of people that in their heads, like, it took them forever. I know me. It took me forever to finally join Instagram. And so there's like a lot of people that like it takes them forever to finally get onto a platform, if even. And so that's why they didn't really understand Vine. And then also because you tell them the concept of Vine where it's like, oh, it's a 6-minute video.
6 seconds.
Oh, 6 minutes.
I wish.
No, then it wouldn't be as funny. 6-second video, and in those 6 seconds, you have to, tell a beginning, middle, and an end. And I feel like that was really difficult for a lot of people to grasp, which is why they never gravitated towards Vine, and which is why it kind of died out. TikTok, on the other hand, I don't know if it's going to have as long as a life as Vine did, because Vine, now that I think of it, Vine was around for like a few years.
You're right. But I mean, TikTok is already like so big.
I feel like it's taking forever for it to get big though.
Really?
Well, because it originally was Musical.ly, and Musical.ly was big, but it wasn't big with like, you could say, older people.
You're right. It was just like 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
Now it's TikTok has
like everybody.
Even grandma was up on there.
Yeah. Yesterday I was watching one where there was like, an older guy where he was like making food for his wife.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was like, I'm cooking dinner for my wife.
You need to send me to your part of TikTok because I'd be getting not those.
No, I thought it was really sweet because I'm like, wow, look at this cute little old man making dinner for his wife.
Now that you say little, even though like it's not even remotely about the little old man. Okay. Anyway. I've been seeing TikTok videos where there's like a little, you buy it at Target and it has like little products inside. What's so
I know what you're talking about, and I've been wanting to try it.
I want to go to Target. Right after.
Literally, we have
so much to do. It's like, I want to go to Target.
But am I about to risk it all for that trip to Target so I can get those little toys? Yes, I'm going to risk it all for those little toys from Target.
Right? Like, they're so cute. Oh my god.
I thought it was a spider. Y'all were about to see me run. I hate spiders. I will. Oh my gosh. So I would say TikTok is another guilty pleasure.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think other than that, there's not really much guilt to me.
No.
And guilt to like things that I like in my
interests.
Because
I'll tell people open it. I like this. It's not like I'm guilty about it.
Okay, actually, I just thought of another one.
Okay.
I think one that I kind of consider a guilty pleasure, and I hate to admit, well, I don't mean I hate to admit that I like this. I mean more I hate to admit that it's kind of a guilty pleasure, like in my head, is Grease.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Because I feel like you talk about, as film majors, you're talking about like all these movies, and there's so many like, in our class there's so many like Quentin Tarantino fans or like.
You're right.
Well, me, I'm a Stanley Kubrick fan, but there's other Stanley Kubrick fans in those class and things like that. So they're talking about like those kind of films. Then there's like films like Grease where people are like, really, a musical is one of your top 10s?
Ooh, yeah, you're right.
I feel like musicals in general for me are guilty pleasures because there's a lot of people that they're like, musicals? What? Like, why would you want this in a movie? And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, I used to want to study music and I ended up studying film. So music plus film, like, honestly, musical is the best thing that could ever happen to me.
I just wish that I could dance like them. Like, I know it takes a lot of choreography and whatever, but I just can't dance.
I feel like in my mind I think I can dance, and that's because I haven't actually seen myself dance.
I can't do it. I've tried. Like, I used to be a really big fan of just like K-pop, and so there was one point in my
people
life.
learn like the
There was one point in my life in high school where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna learn this whole routine. Oh girl, it came out so bad. I played back the video and I was like, oh, I quit. But yeah.
I think there's a video of me somewhere floating about where in the clouds somewhere, where I'm dancing, and this was my junior year of high school.
I'm crying.
I got up and I danced on stage, and this is coming from, like I said, someone who I've never seen myself dance. So I don't know where the video is. If I find it, I'll watch it back before I decide if I'm gonna put it on Twitter or on Instagram.
I kind of remember your little outfit.
That took me so long to make, and that wig was so itchy and so sweaty.
It was long, no?
Yeah, it was.
I
wore a long lime green wig.
I remember I saw a picture, or actually I think I saw a video like real quick.
There was videos.
Yeah.
And some of them I asked for the people to take them
your
down.
friend was the one who had somebody record it. Yeah.
But I don't know where that video is now, so
You don't know.
I feel like I probably have it on my laptop
Dang.
if I really look for it.
Blue's Clues. Let's find it.
Yeah, we're gonna find it. But besides musicals and guilty pleasures, what are your recommendations for this week?
For this week, I would say.
Because last week I had 2.
I know. Last week I had Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. I mean. Man, I haven't even seen Zombieland Double Tap. I would have recommended
so
it.
excited for
I
that.
know I'm gonna recommend it anyway. But for now, a recent film that I've watched was actually I recommend The House of Flowers or La Casa de las Flores because it's like
It's so good.
it's so good, and plus like Manolo Caro is a Mexican like director and whatnot, and like I like his work genuinely. I've seen the other film that he's made, Perfecto Desconocido. Sound was like, ooh, he was
So
spilled.
good.
Everything's
He was
good.
I
But
feel like I live for the drama in that
yeah,
show.
because it reminds me of like telenovelas growing up. So
But they're done so well and they're so beautifully, and it's not like there's not like the overacting that you see a lot
Yeah,
in like
it's
the
not
80s
overacting.
novelas.
it's like the humor of like just I mean being Mexican, you have in your household like a lot of humor that you've heard, and so the humor of that mixed into like a telenovela type of movie, but not so dramatic per se. It's just good.
Yeah.
I like it.
I still haven't seen. I saw season 1, and season 1's really good.
Oh, I'm always on season
Yeah.
2.
I haven't started season 2, but I know you brought it up because it just came out.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my recommendation, I had it while you were talking about your recommendation,
You were like,
and it went away. No, like I just lost it. Wait, I thought of it again. Okay, my recommendation. My recommendation is gonna have to be Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, because we're on October and I haven't recommended anything that's like spooky yet. Yeah. So Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I already said earlier that I love Ross Lynch,
Mm-hmm.
but that show, I can't believe that the creators are like the same people who did Riverdale.
That's wild.
I mean, what's wild is that I'm never gonna know the epic highs and lows of high school football.
Shut up.
I was out here selling drugs in 4th grade for my nana. Oh no, I was living with my nana. I forgot how it goes.
Shut up.
It's been a while.
It's crazy how they like. Why did they let
Who wrote that?
Riverdale flop? And then
No, Riverdale didn't flop. It's still going.
I mean, to me,
To you
after
it
season
flopped.
1,
But there's a lot of like high school, like a lot of people in high school are following it.
yeah. I mean, but to me, after season 1, it just
No.
did not catch
I
my
couldn't
attention
really.
anymore. It was like, nah.
But Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is
It's so
amazing.
good.
Every episode,
Mm-hmm.
it has me for the whole time. Yeah, I'm currently rewatching I think on the 2nd season right now. I'm not sure. But yeah, that's my recommendation for this week. I was about to say this month. We only post once a month. No.
But anyways, we are gonna advertise that next episode. Bobby Spoopy.
Yeah, next episode's gonna be a Halloween episode. We
I'm
might
so
or might not come in costumes. So that is the end of this week's episode. For anybody watching or listening, hi Mom. Again.
Alright. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
Alright, bye-bye.
Bye.